All right, distinguished colleagues, good afternoon once again. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's a pleasure to have each and every one of us here this afternoon. And this is a Nasiru Giwa mentorship platform. This session is currently powered by the Career and Development team, which will be discussing today navigating careers in engineering, HSC, and in tech. And this particular session was actually requested by our members and the general public for early career individuals and for graduates, recent graduate and final year students who are currently seeking more clarifications about their respective discipline in this particular field we have actually mentioned here. In this course, we have different individuals who are doing exceptionally well in their respective field, which we have invited to join us on this session here this afternoon. Before we proceed to that, let's kindly gently recite Surah Al-Fatiha as an opening dua for this session. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Amen. All right, so this is that will be an open recitation from that. We take that as an open recitation for our as a open recitation for this session. Kindly let me introduce on our guest. We have the engineer Jamil Badmus. Assalamu alaikum, sir. All right. He's still with us here already. So we also have Mr. Yusuf Aweda. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm so glad to be here.
Thank you very much, Jazakumullahu khairan, for honoring an invite. We pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to also honor you and respond to your request where you called him. Also, we have Engineer Muili Naima. I don't know if she had joined the call here. All right. I anticipate we also have joined the session.
That making the first floor from my down first.
All right. Thank you very much also for joining. So Nasiru Giwa mentorship platform, which I had mentioned earlier on, is a Muslim community where we have individuals who are already on the field, that is experienced individuals who are doing exceptionally well in their respective spaces, ranging from the engineering, the finance, the technologies, the accountants, the social empowerment, even entrepreneurship, who are also doing exceptionally well in their respective domains, who are mentoring early career individuals, students who just graduated, the fresh graduates, also final year students in their respective schools, also having to put them through what they are expected to face, or what we are supposed to do while navigating through our careers in life. And just like we all know that the popular quote that says that experience is the best teacher here. So while we have persons who already experienced, who are guiding us through what we are going to be doing in our respective domains, to guide us through this, so that mistakes that some persons already made in the past are not being carried out by those persons who are currently coming on board. This is just to hasten up the race of reaching the peak of our respective careers here. So I am Sadiq Abdurrahim by name. I'm student Sadiq Abdurrahim by name, a graduate of electrical electronics engineering also a mentee of the Nasir Giwa Mentorship Platform. I am the Deputy Team Lead for the Career Development and Employability Enhancement team here. So this is me. I'll be anchoring this session here this afternoon. Thank you for having me here. We'll be having the Grand Mentor, Engineer Nasir Giwa, who will give us like an open speech and open remark if he's currently here with us. Engineer, sir. All right. While we anticipate that he join us, let's currently take the recitations. All right. So why does this session matters? Why we anticipate the Grand Mentor join us? Why this session matters to us a lot? Let's kindly share the link to this particular session to our friends, our colleagues, and families and friends or individuals who might want to benefit for this or who might need more clarity about their respective domains in terms of engineering, HSC, which is health, safety, and environment, and then in tech. Tech encompasses all sessions like analysis, the project management, virtual assistant, and all that. Why does this session matters to your journey? This particular session was actually requested, just as I mentioned earlier on, what we have we understand that different persons are graduating on yearly basis from our respective institutions, and many do not know what they want to do. Yes, I am an engineer, I'm an electrical engineer precisely, but what do I need to do? An electrical engineer does not mean to say that you must actually know, you must be on the fields connecting wires and the likes together. We have electrical engineers who are also doing well as an engineer, but not in the engineering, in the electrical, not necessarily loading a plier. You can be a consultant, or you can also be an AutoCAD engineer with the electrical engineering background, which means you're having two in one. So which means for this session, we have our guests, our speakers, who will be taking us through this session for what we need. These questions already been coined out. Then if you have any question, you can drop them in the chat box. And also let us inform us that this session is currently live streamed on YouTube. So for those of us who still want to drop our questions, I'll drop the link, the Slido link on the chat box here so that we can drop in our questions there for us to pick it up, and then we can have our questions being responded to in course of this presentation. All right, so this is why this session actually matters to us so much, a lot about this. So next one is introduction of our guests. We'll be having to introduce our speakers here. We have, just like we mentioned earlier on, we have three main focus or three main disciplines we'll be focusing on this particular afternoon in this contest here. So we have the engineering, which is being represented, which Engineer Noima Muili would be taking us through that particular session. We also have for the tech discipline, we have Mr. Yusuf Aweda Jimo, who will also be taking us through that particular session. Also, Engineer Jamil Badmos will also be responding to questions around the safety, the health, safety, and environment, and also being a global mentor. He will also be sharing his insights and his experience and with us, together with other speakers on this session. Thank you very much for joining. Engineer Noima Moili, can you please confirm if you can hear me, please? Engineer Muili Naiman, please. Can you please confirm if you can hear me? Your mic is muted if you are speaking. I don't know if you can hear me. We have Engineer Muili on this call.
Yes, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakumullah khairan. It's a pleasure to have you here joining us this afternoon. Thank you very much. Mr. Yusuf Aweda, assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam, barakatuh.
All right, thank you very much for honoring our invite. Also, Engineer Jamil Badmus, assalamu alaikum, sir. All right, Engineer Jamil Badmus will be joining us in a short while. So before we go, let's take recitation from Engineer Naima Muili. All right, Engineer Naima Muili, FNSC. All right, apologies for that. That was a network glitch right from my hand here. So just like mentioned earlier, we have Engineer Naima Muili. She's an associate partner and climate sustainability service portfolio manager at Arab Lagos, where she also served as the executive board. She made history as the first woman to join the firm executive board in over 6 decades. Wow. Over 6 decades of its operation in Nigeria, contributing significantly to multidisciplinary projects in infrastructure development, infrastructure delivery, master planning, asset management, stakeholder engagement, and sustainability focused development. Engineer Muili holds bachelor's and master's degrees in civil and environmental engineering structures from the University of Lagos. She is a certified project management professional, PMP, also an ISO 9001 and ISO 14001 lead auditor, and an edge expert in sustainable building design. Her professional career includes major infrastructure assignments across Nigeria, Liberia, Ghana, and United Kingdom. She played a key role in the successful delivery of the World Bank-funded 18-kilometer road infrastructure program in Liberia, providing quality assurance and quality oversight in for a landmark $167 million project. A fellow of the Nigeria Society of Engineers, Nigeria Institute of Environmental Engineers, and the Nigerian Institution of Civil Engineers. Engineer Muili currently serves as the 16th chairman of the Nigeria Society of Engineers, NSC Ikeja branch, where she championed youth mentorship, ethical engineering practice, professional development, innovations, and member welfare. She is also a former chairman of the Association of Professional Women Engineers of Nigeria and an active mentor with human and successful career. Beyond her professional achievement, she is passionate about mentoring young professionals, promoting diversity in engineering, and empowering future leaders. She enjoys traveling, continuous learning, and innovation. She is happily married and blessed with children. Distinguished colleagues, this with our virtual applause, let's kindly welcome engineer Noimat Moeli. Assalamu alaikum, ma. Once again. All right, thank you very much, everyone, for welcoming our guest. Also, we take the citation of, thank you very much, ma. We also take the citation from Mr. Yusuf Jimoh Aweda, MBA, MCP rather. Yusuf Aweda, the group lead developer for INQ Edge, graduate of physics and electronics from the prestigious University of Lagos, with an MBA from the University of the People, Pasadena, USA. Senior technology leader with 17 years of hands-on experience across software engineering, cloud architecture, enterprise integration, and AI-driven solution. From full stack system to multi-cloud infrastructure and Salesforce-based platforms. It designs and delivers technology that perform at scales. It leverages data analytics to drive better decisions. Apologies for that. Better decisions to perform at a scale. Better decisions and integrate AI into engineering workflows to solve complex business challenges so far. It turns complexity into clarity and strategy into working software. With our virtual applause, let's kindly also welcome Mr. Yusuf Aweda Jimoh. Assalamu alaikum, sir. Mr. Yusuf, sir. All right. So apologies for that. Let me take that session now, Mr. Yusuf. I observe that our speakers are being muted. This is for us to have a similar session here this afternoon.
Okay.
Can you please confirm your mic now, ma, please?
Yes, I can. I'm speaking up. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. Mr. Yusuf, can you confirm your mic also, please? Mr.
Okay,
Yusuf.
I'm able to. Yes, I'm able. I've been unmuted now. So.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. All right. While Engineer Jamil will be joining us here shortly, let's kindly take his citations too. Once he joins us, he's currently on the call with us, but he cannot speak where he is. But he will join us once he's able to speak. We'll take his question. Engineer Jamil Badmus, founder the visionary QHSES Leadership Academy, the Motivator Leadership Rebuilt, Chief Purpose Officer, Foundation for Excellence in Sustainability and Human Development, FES HD, Managing Consultant, Fimburi Ents Limited, Engineer Jamiu Badmus, visionary and result-driven executive leader with over 25 years of cross-sector experience spanning power, oil and gas, telecommunication, manufacturing, construction, and consulting with proven track record of converting safety, compliance, and sustainability into measurable financial values. Engineer Jamiu Badmus is a trusted advisor and a strategic thinker to executive management and boards, and he has consistently translate safety, sustainability, and governance into measurable business value, positioning organizations for resilient regulatory excellence, operational excellence, and long-term growth. As a global speaker and industry influencer with 10 fellowship awards in leading professional bodies and over 40 prestigious awards, Engineer Jamiu Badmus has delivered thought-provoking presentations at both local and international platforms, conferences, including IOSH UK and World OSH Congress in Singapore, Canada, and Australia, WOS in Germany, African Utility Week in South Africa, ESG Africa Forum in Nigeria, HSC Summit in Nigeria, Vision Zero in Ghana, SOWHE Africa in Tanzania and Nigeria, AfriSafe in Zambia, Kenya, and other global platforms. Engineer Jamiu Badmus added executive courses in prestigious institutions including Harvard, Driving Business Performance, Lagos Business School, Mississippi State University, US ESCOM Academy, Sweden, Tekia Academy, Gala Education, SDG Africa Program, University of Cape Town, Energy Efficiency and Sustainability, Executive Masters in CSR and Sustainability, IRCSR, Center for Sustainability and Excellence, CSE, Sustainability ESG Practitioner, Certified Sustainability Practitioner Leadership, Energy Institute, H&M, and presently a PhD student at University of Petroleum and Resources, EFRUM, Occupational Health, Safety and Environment Management, and the Hightstone Global University, Texas, USA, Climate Change and Environmental Sustainability. Distinguished guests, friends, let's kindly welcome Engineer Jamiu Badmus with a virtual applause, please. All right, so this is... Thank you very much, sir, for honoring our invite. I would say that this session is going to be an insightful one, as we have, you would agree with me that these speakers we have brought to us are seasonal speakers. They have vast experience in their respective field. So let us take this as we move forward. I'll take these questions in no particular order. Kindly indulge me. I want to request our facilitator have their camera on while they are speaking or throughout the session. Thank you very much for that. So to colleagues, you still have the permission to share this link across with friends, colleagues, families who want to get more clarity about their careers moving forward in life. So Engineer Noima, please, this question goes to you. Right, so moving forward, we understand that this session is about career clarity. We want to get more about clarity. So this question is, a lot of people choose engineering as a profession, but it sounds promising. not because they understood what they want, what the day-to-day works looks like. What do you wish someone had told you about what this field is actually like before you committed to it? Engineer Noima, please.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, we can
Can
hear
you
you
hear
loud
me?
and clear. Yes, we can hear you loud and clear, ma.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma, we can hear you. We can hear you loud and clear. Engineer Noima, ma, we can hear you loud and clear.
The recording in progress. The recording in progress. The recording in progress.
Okay. Sorry. I was trying to switch device. I'm on my phone, but I would have loved to be on my system. So if I get your question right, you said it's about career clarity. I lost audio at some point. Can you just don't read all the question because I had a part of it. So just summarize it.
Okay, people choose engineering, but they don't know, it sound sound promising. Yes, I am engineer by profession. Yes, I want to be an engineer. But what do you wish someone had told you about this particular field? What does engineering look like? If you wish
Okay.
somebody had told you before you actually commit yourself to it.
Okay, so thank you very much for having me, and I really appreciate Alaji for finding me worthy to be here and all the organizers. My name is Nimot, not Noimot. I like to be called Noimot too because they virtually have the same meaning like that of the deputy governor. So please, point of correction. My name is Nimot. So in choosing career and in reflecting about how I started my career journey, most times whatever we want to do or whatever career we want to choose, it stems from either mentorship from home, from school, from the community, or the people you interact with. So that's why the advice is always bird of same feather, they flock together. So in my case, I'll say it's from home. My dad is a civil engineer, and I have a lot of other architects, surveyor, mechanical engineer around me. So watching my aunt and dad, that inspired me. But the one that inspired me the most is my aunt, who is a builder that I do sometimes follow to sites. So that background really most times influences the kind of career you choose. And sometimes it's a case of that is what my parents want. That's not really totally my own case. Yes, by the time I made up my mind that I want to be like some of the things I see around me, my dad already set his mind to it. So at the time I eventually made up my mind that I want to study economics because engineering without the finances doesn't go anywhere. My dad has already set his mind to, oh, you're going to study civil engineering. And I said, okay. So throughout my stay in the university, I was doing my dad's course. That's civil engineering. And that's where I always relate it, is what my dad wants. So I went through the rigor in school. I would say it was a mixed feeling for me. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the fact that we female were unique in engineering, and I really enjoyed that fact. we really do get the support we need sometimes. And sometimes you are just unique in your own world. And for me, I'm unique in three ways. A female in a male-dominated environment, and a Jabi, which sometimes is really like, what are you doing here with all these things that you have around you? And the way the world is, the female are counted as minority. So I'm a minority in three layers. So I really enjoyed all of that. In school, it was tough. I mean, it's not the regular course that you see people, if not for what you're studying for, it's also what you go through, burning the midnight candle, going to sites, which is what most people say about engineering. So it's not that I wasn't prepared for it, but it's a mixed feeling that I eventually find my feet. So at the time I went through all of that in school, when I finished and I was nurturing what I want to study, that I want to study economics, I want to not only execute the project, I want to see how it works, how funds are being raised. So I now realize that, okay, I can actually do project management. And I now appreciate the fact that I studied the engineering first. It was a very enriching platform for me to do every other thing that I want to do. That's why you see engineers studying law, studying accounting, because it's like you expanded your head to accommodate so many things, and eventually you choose to be maybe one thing. So after school and after many years of working, interacting, learning so much from people, also teaching people that this is what I've learned and what I can do, I applied for a master's in like project management, passed all the courses, and the admission wasn't just coming. So I went back to now also do a second degree in engineering, civil engineering structures of option. It still looked like it's not what I want to study initially, but eventually I found my feet. I realized that, oh, engineering is just perfect for me. With engineering, I can do a whole lot of others. That's why you see all the things I'm doing, sustainability, HSE, quality, and all of that, because I went through the rigor of having a solid foundation. With all sense of humility, all courses are very relevant and important. But for me, I'm speaking as an engineer. It gives me the opportunity to do every other thing. So I wasn't prepared for it, but along the line, mentorship helped, parental guidance helped, interaction of the circle I find myself, which is what I'm also telling you as young professionals, those that you relate with, those that you interact with also shapes you in all aspects of your life, your spiritual, career, family life, social life, they shape you. So those things, they shape me. And I thank Allah for guidance. I'm always intentional about those that I interact with. So you could see me everywhere on social media, but I'm someone of very small circle, because I'm intentional about what comes into my body, my mind, my thinking, and where I see myself in the future. So I hope that answers your question. So that's a bit of my background and career journey.
All right. Thank you very much, Edina Noimo. I guess I correct
Nimot.
that. Sorry, Nimat. Sorry,
Nimot.
apologies for that.
Yeah, Nimot alike. If you can pronounce that as well, that's fine.
Okay, thank you very much, Ma, for sharing that insight about what you wish someone had told you earlier before moving on to this particular field. So moving on now, we have Mr. Yusuf Aweda. So this is a question for you, and would like to have your camera on also while also giving your response to this. For someone still not sure, Mr. Yusuf, can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can hear you now. I've just unmuted myself. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much, sir. So for someone who is still not sure if they are in the right field, we know tech is quite encompassing, it's very big. Yes, today I'm a cybersecurity, tomorrow I'm a data analyst, the following day I'm an automation engineer, and just so overwhelming. For someone who is still not sure if they are in the right field, how do you tell the difference between I haven't found my footing yet and this is genuinely this genuinely is not for me?
Okay, Bismillah, thank you so much for having me. I'm trying to make sure that the camera is powered on. Okay, I may be having issue with my camera. Okay, so let me go ahead to answer the question. It pretty much focuses on if you are not sure about if tech is meant for you, right?
Yes, sir.
Hello? Okay, cool. So I think the very first thing is sometimes as a beginner or someone who is just trying to navigate your career path, you might not be quite sure or have the clarity of what you want to do. But there's one thing that is pretty much important that often drives people to deciding on what they want to do. And that is what you discover about yourself or what you have passion for. I'm going to give myself an example. And I know it's quite interesting when people read my profile and they say, okay, I'm a lead software engineer. It sounds quite enthralling. But I didn't start primarily as a software engineer. I had studied electrical engineering from Polytechnic Ibadan before I advanced to University of Lagos to study physics and electronics. And when I concluded my OND at the time, I had the privilege to experience my industrial training at telecom, environment. The first was in 2004 when I was at Television House in Victoria Island, then to Channel 5. I was experiencing my IT at the time at the telecom department and telecommunication department at the time. So we were able to see the practicality of what we've been taught in school. Then, of course, when I concluded my OND, I had the privilege to now switch into core telecommunication. I'm talking about, IP routing, router configuration, pretty much similar to telecommunication of one device to another, whereby you have, people, you have master engineers, riggers following us all around where we would configure internet provisioning for big companies. At the time, around 2004, 2005, I was pretty much more of a network engineer, internet service provider network engineer, which set up, at the time, I think I set up the Kakaba Discount Out Internet and the Shell building in Korea at the time. So I was pretty much involved in the core engineering part of the telecom inclination and configuring routers. And how did the software, come into place? Because this would point to the question the person actually asked. Because at the point you will feel like, am I really meant to be here? Is this space actually meant for me? Because you might have started with something, then gradually you begin to discover yourself more. And it is often important you take the bold step to start with something. And don't wait till you have that perfection to proceed with embarking on the productive journey of your career. Just start with something. And during the course of the adventure, you would find clarity and you will find the passion to actually diversify into what you actually have passion for. So while I was, advancing my career in line of telecommunication at the time, in fact, I had written a couple of Microsoft certifications, Microsoft Certified Technology Specialist. In fact, at the point, I wrote certifications to the extent that I was given MCP by Microsoft, Microsoft Certified Professional. I was a good when it comes to network routing, IP address configuration, all of that. But when the technology started changing, we started moving closer to around 2008, 2007. Software engineering started gaining a place of pride. And at the time, I would launch my BlackBerry phone at the time. And when I go to the BlackBerry App World, that was the appellation they used to qualify that store, just like the way we have a Play Store for Android applications now and iOS for iPhones. Back in the day, BlackBerry App World had their applications stored on an ambience called BlackBerry App World. And I will go to BlackBerry App World and I will find lots of fascinating applications in there. And there was a time I was not scrolling. Then I found that some of the religious organizations in Nigeria also had their applications in there. In fact, the one I could remember vividly was the Rhapsody of Reality application by Christ Embassy. I was awed because, of course, we had Islamic applications on that platform, but we never had indigenous applications that we can point to the fact that this is an indigenous application by Muslim developer in Nigeria. And I'm talking about, mid 2000, 2008, 2007. I couldn't find anything of such. So that actually, triggered my consciousness to saying, and to deciding to go into software engineering. So I started learning how to code, and before you knew it, back in the day, we didn't have all the frameworks we have now. Whereby if you want to build a web application, you can use React or Vue.js or Next.js. Then we didn't have that. If you want to build a backend now, you can maybe write a Django backend or any of these frameworks to write pretty much faster application. If you want to write a mobile application now, you're writing Flutter or React Native. These are frameworks that make life pretty easy. Back in the day, you have to write with the Dreamweaver, writing your codes line by line. It was a very, very tough adventure. So I took that bold step. I started transitioning into writing programming languages. And what led to that, which is what I'm going to reemphasize, was that, ignition I had internally to actually bring forth a software that would have local Nigerian Islamic identity. So at the time I wrote my first application, one of the very few applications I wrote at the time was a software called the BlackBerry app world. It was called, I think, Dawa Kit. It was an adaptation of a book called Islam, the Misunderstood Religion by Muhammad Qutb. Fantastic book. This is a book that, a Muslim should read if you find yourself amongst people who would attack Islam, that Islam is a religion of olden days, is an antiquated religion, it is an anachronistic religion, it oppresses women. What does Islam say about all of these things? What does it say about communism, socialism, all of these modern issues? I love the book, so I adapted it into my first mobile application. And that was the beginning. So the company I was working for at the time, I was a senior network software engineer. Then the MD started noticing something that the MD was primarily a software engineer, but I was heading the network infrastructure department. So I wanted to go to the MD, who was a core software engineer. Of course, he knew something about network design as well. I would see the way he was writing codes. I was getting so fascinated. So gradually I started and I began, improving myself. I launched another application. So I keep reiterating it. What drove me into that was because I wanted to have that representation of Muslim identity as a software, on the world stage. So that was the adventure, and I began picking it up from there. I built a couple of applications. So I worked as a network engineer for so many years, for about 12 years. But at the same time, within that 12 years, I was already coding enterprise application. So how did I now migrate fully into working for a bigger company as a software engineer? So I had a mentor who I would always relate to about my software adventure. So the man told me that there was a new company that they were trying to transition from telecommunication to bringing in digital solutions to their technology. So they're going to be marrying telecommunication and digital software solution. And they needed a software engineer, but this time a senior software engineer that would help them to do something pretty much important. So I asked him, what do you mean by pretty much important? He said they were on the verge of closing a deal of $1 million, and they needed a software engineer from Nigeria that would talk about the codes that they have written by their partners outside Nigeria, so that the customer would be so thrilled that this is indeed not an off-the-shelf solution, is a custom software development. And that was it. So I passed through 5 stages of the interview, and luckily for me, I was picked as the best candidate. So the next major task for me was to actually face about 10 developers representing the customer outside Nigeria who have been sponsored outside Nigeria to learn about software engineering. So they brought them back to Nigeria again to sit and listen to me defending the code for the software. And that was the transformation that actually unfolded the whole thing. And that gave me a very, very huge leverage. I was able to to defend the code, answer every question relating to custom development, and the company actually got, that deal. And that was my very, very first, adventure in dealing with complex and robust applications. So pointing back to your question, IT is a field that is pretty much complex. And sometimes you just need to take the bold step to start. And by the time you start, you discover what gives you that clarity. And for me, I'm a kind of a creative person. I love to think around logic and bring forth some certain, unprecedented ideas. So I felt if I have to sit back and focus on network infrastructure design, I would not be able to explore my intellectualism, completely. So I thought the very field that I needed to actually exude my intellectualism, to the best of my ability and with unprecedented passion is to actually cross over to software engineering. And I feel that that is the ingredient for me. So the key component here is take the bold step, start something. While you have started with something, you would eventually find your right career track, inshallah. Thanks so much.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Yusuf, for that. Yes, just like you mentioned, start something, then from there you get to understand which particular track is good for you. Thank you very much. Now we move on to Jamil Badmos, and this question is like a two-way thing, but we'll take it this way. Just like we already have this insight for many of us who are already on the field. We know that HSC, the people always see HSC officer like those persons who are not ready, who are not willing, or who are always like a resistance to the progress of the company. So can you please tell us what is a myth about your industry that you believe before you start working that turned out to be completely wrong?
Okay, thank you so much. Please confirm you can hear me.
Yes, loud and clear, sir.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. To the two speakers, my leader, Engineer Nemat, I greet you. Oga Yusuf, I celebrate you. In every discipline that you have in this world, if you want to survive it, it's very critical that health and safety is integrated into your operations. Health and safety is beyond a specific industry. It's in all industry. It is all industry. Because the prayer of every one of us here today is to go to work vertically and leave your office vertically. Know what that means? If you go to work vertically and you leave office horizontally, that means you are gone. It's either you are dead or you are on sick bed going to the hospital. Our prayer is to go to work vertically and live vertically. And whether any discipline you are, engineering, IT, tech, anyone, you always want to go to work horizontally, to work very well, and come back this same vertically and not horizontally. So health and safety is beyond a discipline. It is an attitude. It is what should be part of every one of us, irrespective of what you study. Though there will be some people that will specialize in it. As you can see, there's PhD in health and safety. Some have to specialize, but everyone that must understand this particular aspect of work life. Now, with the question being posed, when you get to any company, quote me, and health and safety is behaving like a policeman, then you be sure that it's mentorship stages, or you be sure that those that train that person, and you be sure that that person may have not listened to training also, that is doing the wrong thing. Health and safety is not about policing. It's not police officer. It's not a man that stops the work of the production. It's not a man that says everything must stop, they must listen to him. If not, close the company, shut down the plant. Those ones are not trained, or they are not properly trained, or they don't even understand the rudiments of health and safety, or they don't follow those who train them. Health and safety, when it started at the traditional level, yes, I agree with you. Olden days is all about compliance, compliance, compliance. And we are doing that so that they don't have accidents. Despite doing that, accident continues to happen. And nowadays, health and safety have transformed into what we call culture, into what we call first safety culture, into what we call care culture, into what we call leading with empathy, working with compassion. So that when someone has failed to follow what is being designed to do based on your process, instead of saying, stop all the work and show your safety person, why not remember your clause 4.1 of ISO 45001/2018, which is the Bible of health and safety, which is the Quran, our own scripture of health and safety. Clause 4.1 is very clear. You need to analyze your internal and external issues, know where things can go wrong, and proactively put in place a system and structure that will prevent that from happening. Health and safety is an offshoot of operational risk. Operational risk is an offshoot of enterprise risk management. That is the way we should be thinking. So anywhere you see health and safety and production fighting themselves, health and safety and operations fighting themselves, go straight to the leadership. The problem is from that area. Clause 5.1 is clear of our scripture. Leadership and commitment. Are the leaders committed? What is the type of culture they put in place? Remember, culture, it's strategy for breakfast. If you have a very bad culture, a culture of leading with coercion, a culture of leading with punishment, that will translate to your health and safety doing the same thing. And that will make your organization to be organization whereby it's always looking for fighting. Leadership is not by influence. Leadership is supposed to be by influence, supposed to be by action, supposed to be by inspiration in health and safety in HSC. When it turns to coercion, then there is a problem. That is no more leadership again. That is why go and check all the ISO standards that you can certify to, all the latest ones that have 10 clauses, high-level structure. You see that clause 5 is always leadership, all of them. But in health and safety, clause 5 changed to leadership and worker participation. So that when leaders are doing the right thing, workers must also, they are mandated, they are obliged to do what should be done by them, and they should be carried along. So what you are seeing or what you are hearing from people, safety police officer, policing everywhere, stop accident, do this. Yes, olden days. They are talking of years before even we graduated in 1999. Olden days, they are doing that. And only small young professionals with old mentality still do that one now. But everyone is now seeing it. That health and safety should not stop production. Instead, put every proactive means in place for production to succeed. I have a lot of examples to give. Go straight to your online and type Paul O'Neill. Paul O'Neill was appointed the CEO of Alcoa, Aluminum Company of America, in 1987. That time, Alcoa was undergoing economic depression. They have problems in the company. And they brought Paul O'Neill to come and be the MD, CEO of a company, CEO/chairman. Paul O'Neill, the first day of assumption of his duty, go and check online. The first thing he said is, I am going to make Alcoa the safest company in America, and I'm going to ensure that we have zero injury. People eased at that point that this man is talking about safety here. We say a company is undergoing economic depression. We are having financial stress. Things are doing wrongly. Staff are at home. Staff are becoming sick every time. And he's saying he will use safety to solve the problem. And that is what he did. The history is there. What we learn from history is we learn nothing from history. The history is there. When it started, their market share value was 3 billion. He was able to make 27.4 billion. The history is there. What did he do? He made sure that people are engaged proactively. He made sure that people are involved in what he's doing. He made sure that people are healthy, people are okay, people are safe. They are happy to come to work. Psychosocial risk, when you are unhappy, when you are sad, when you are angry, all these elements, he remove them. He engage the people, work with the people, deal with the people, go to them, work with them. They love him. When people love their leader, they do a lot of things to make things happen. Remember, when people are motivated, what is difficult becomes easy. When people are demotivated, what is easy becomes difficult. He motivated the staff. Leaders present and my mentees of our leaders. Look, I won't lie to you. Things start to change. People start to be involved in all the things of the company. Productivity increases, and before you know it, they make those fantastic billions of dollars. Why? Because of one habit of workers. Say, we want to go to work vertically. We want to go back and be happy to meet our family. The only profession that does that for you is safety. And the truth is, it is not just a department. It's about all of us. It's our attitude. After all, if you check the mirror in your house now, go check your mirror. The person you see on the mirror is responsible for your safety. If you see the village woman from your village, then you are under remote control. Your death, your accident is on the way. But if you see yourself, you manage yourself, you make things better, and at the end of the day, you enshrine safety and accident turn to zero. So safety has gone beyond the issue of coercion. We lead with empathy. We lead with compassion. We work with compassion. So what we have now is safe production, safety plus production, safe operation, not safety antagonizing production, not production antagonizing safety. Anywhere you see that, they don't have a safety culture. They need to build their culture to be an engaged culture so that they can have a safe environment. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Engineer Jamiu Badmus. That was an insightful one. As I mentioned, it is a collaborative effort of both the management and the safety officers are not supposed to they're not supposed to be policing in personnel who are currently working in their respective domains. So moving forward, we have time fast spent on this particular call. We have a few questions to also ask our guests before we close up for today. In Animatala, you have this also. So these questions goes about, it's talked about access to opportunities, right? And then there's this particular question that was asked that, okay, companies say they want people ready from day one. Like once you get employed, you must be ready from day one. What is the one thing, what's that one thing on a CV or in an interview that makes you think someone can actually do the work versus someone with just the degree or certificate?
Okay. Someone with to be ready for the job from day one. Number one, let me acknowledge Engineer Jamiu Badmus. Thank you very much for being here. I mean, I'm always your student as well. Okay, so back to your question, to be ready. So most times, and I'll speak from my experience of working in Liberia. I'm sure many of us will know Liberia. Liberia is the water country, and nothing can actually prepare you for such kind of environment. Whilst I was working in Liberia, there was we had Ebola pandemic. Then we also had, I mean, the remnants of the war. So whilst we're here preparing, I wasn't certain that I have what it takes to go there. So when you're applying for a job, or when you want to apply for a job, there are requirements for it. It will say maybe 5 years experience, no experience, 10 years experience. Check those things and ensure that you have almost everything. For the ones you don't have an answer, and I'll give you an example. So let me go back to the Liberia experience. I was working as a quality control engineer, and working here in Nigeria, I've been a lead auditor, supporting audits, ensuring compliance. Part of what Engineer Jami Badmus mentioned, ensuring that all the ISO clauses we follow through and we keep our organization certified. So when I was going, I was thinking, okay, that is the way it would be, just ensure compliance. But I met a lot of cultural shocks. Number one, the kind of English they speak is a kind of colloquial English. It has it kind of have American accent and colloquial like that. It was difficult initially. Then the contractor we were working with is a Chinese contractor. We had language barrier. We also have work culture barrier. The things that we see as unsafe is looking like is the order of the day. Then I'm basically in consulting. But once I was in Liberia, I had to work in 3 major locations that have quarries, batching plants, every batching plant, because the road project I was working on is like from here to Osogbo, 186-kilometer road. So we had, sometimes I had to travel that distance in a day to go and audit, to go and ensure compliance, to go and ensure that they still use the stream, they still go to stream to work. And their stream can be like our canal in Lagos, but it has a water part. They go there to wash their plates, shower, and everything. So I was met with cultural shock. So I had the certificate, and I am already doing the work of lead auditor here in Nigeria. Getting to the work, will you say I didn't prepare enough? I was preparing. So when I got there, I had to identify the contractor's auditor and, tell him that this is what we are supposed to achieve. If you know consultant contractor relationship, it usually don't work well because the consultant is like the police to the contractor. But in that case, I couldn't do that. So I had to work with the man from Ireland. He's an Irish man. I had to let him know that I need you to help me achieve my aim of coming all the way from Nigeria to come and work in Liberia. Then we need to make sure that this project is a success. So most times when I travel, I'm already exhausted. And by the time I'll now get to sites, going to various departments, checking reinforcement, from reinforcement to batching of concrete to testing, I'll go to another one. And it's a very bumpy, very rough road that we're trying to work on. So most times you don't have to, you might have all the certificates, you might not have the experience. You must find a way to balance it. Just don't be find one thing because the potential is always there. I also tell you something. In our waiting period, and part of what also enables me to do a lot that I'm able to do were challenges. I've had challenges that during my one of the things that made me to be a lifelong learner is a senior colleague that felt threatened and never give me promotion for almost 4 years. That was when after I finished my APOEM chairmanship. It looks like you're now all over, so you're not relevant in the office. So instead of just waiting to say, oh, there's nothing to do, I started doing a lot of online courses. And by the time I was going for appraisal, it looks like, oh, so you've been doing a lot, but it looks like you are not busy. So don't wait for when you have everything or when the environment is really so perfect and I have a job and I have a workstation and I have internet and I have everything perfect and I have a master's and I have a PhD and I have HND. No, there can never be a perfect time. Make sure that every opportunity you have, you make use of it. Even sometimes they are not pleasant. And that's why I use my own case of unpleasant experience. And sometimes is when I'm traveling. Like now, when we sat down, I've written what Engineer Jamin said. He said psychosocial. And I know we've been talking about this in the office, mental wellness. In fact, sometimes we have the but I've learned a new term now. And I said I'm going to explore it and let people know, because I'm also dealing with some issues with people thinking that you can talk to your driver anyhow because he's your driver. But those things affect them psychologically. And that's why I always ensure that at every point in time, treat people the way you want to be treated, because the table can flip around. So back to the question, don't always assume you are going to have everything. So it's until when you have everything that you apply. I have a lot of degree, but sometimes the experience that is required, I don't have it. I'm currently serving Lagos State as an appeal, as a member of the appeal court inaugurated by the governor. I'm not a lawyer, but I'm an engineer. I can contribute technically. So each time we go there, I make sure that when they said, oh, we need to be in subgroups, I will choose the group where I will be active, that needs technical contribution, that needs maybe public advocacy. Then I will choose the one that says decision writing after we've listened to case and we need to make decision. I don't know Nigerian law, even an expert in that area. I'll now take that as my secondary so that I can also learn about that aspect of our well-being, about the profession, because we also have people that are lawyers and that are engineers and lawyers dealing with issues that engineers have. So don't wait till when you have everything. Whilst you are waiting, make sure that you use your time effectively. Then when you are going for an interview, answer the ones you can answer. Make sure that even before you go for the interview, you're applying for maybe an HSC officer, a quality control officer, and you're not working. Go around and ask. When I did my professional exam, I wasn't working. It was following NSC appointment to meetings and technical tour that enables me to know how bridges are designed, how roads are paved. And that's why I moved from structures to infrastructure, because I was able to see the wider opportunities that are in civil infrastructure. And I said, okay, I like to engage. That's why you see stakeholder engagements in my core area. I like to engage. I like to talk to people. I like to understand what is the problem. Before we say we want to start designing, what is really the problem? Okay, the canal is blocked. Before we start designing drainage, let's understand that further down the road, there's somebody that has built house there. Let's go and engage the person that your house needs to go. So don't wait till when you are ready. Understand your why, so that when you go for the interview, when you are responding, they know that this person understand what we want. He or she might not have the certificates, but understand what we want. He might also not have the experience, but it's something you know. And above it all, pray that your preparedness, Allah use it as sabab to meet opportunity, because that really does work. Make sure you prepare. You don't assume that things will just work. No, things don't work like that. You must be prepared. Put your trust in Allah and tie your camel as well. So that's what I will say to that. Jazakallah khair.
Jazakumullah khairan once again, Ami Wayakum. It's a pleasure to have Engineer Nimat Allah here, responding to questions which have been asked by our fellow colleagues while trying to get clarity about their their respective domains in while moving on in life. So I will move on to Mr. Yusuf Jima. So we have this question about also assessing opportunities. You have over decades, decades of experience in the telecom sector before switching on to this tech sector as a software developer. So now this question is now about, he said this question is about we see people complaining online that, hey, I have sent over 200 applications and nothing is working. What would you tell them to do differently?
Okay, so I think I'm able to unmute myself now. So
yes, sir.
So what do I tell? I mixed that part when I was trying to unmute.
okay, as someone who has sent over 200 applications or several applications and nothing is coming back to work, what actually will you tell this person to do differently for his or application to get noticed and get probably interviewed and employed?
Okay, thank you so much. It's a very, very beautiful question. And I also want to say that, the two speakers that have spoken have also made this response quite easy for me because parts of the points have actually been mentioned one way or the other as well. But for me, I would say that when trying to, advance with your career, it is far beyond the academic inclination alone or the core, brainy or brilliant, smart part of the career itself. So sometimes it's got to do with you having the right person to give you the right information and the right mentorship. So mentorship is actually a key thing that is pretty much important, and it's very much connected to how you move faster on the ladder of your career as well. So if you have been receiving lots of rejection letters and you've not been having that, yes, you are moving to the next step, it's quite tiring, it's quite frustrating. I have had to be I've had to be, on that path for over a decade as well, because I was quite passionate about transitioning into core software engineering role because I felt I was done with networking infrastructure design, IP addressing, and all of that. So I was waiting patiently. And when I counted the first 10 decades, I couldn't find that opportunity, despite that I've had to try a couple of times. And I had to wait another 2 years, making 12 years before I could finally match my desired role, transitioning fully into senior software engineering role. I'm going to share something important that pretty much helped me. It is mentorship. Mentorship is a real thing. The company that I had tried to apply to, I got a rejection letter. Later, after maybe about 5 years, the company was transitioning to something else. So one of the mentors that I had was working in the company, and he wanted me to give it a try. And it wasn't just that information that helped me. He actually guided me throughout the adventure. So when I got to the stage of the interview, he shared with me, you have to prepare for the practical inclination because we are going to be helping you with we are going to be asking you core coding questions, real life questions. So that was pretty made clear to me. And also, when I passed beyond the coding aspect, it was time for me to negotiate. And I want our listeners here to listen very, very well, because mentorship is not something that you take with levity. I was working with a company for 12 years where I never had the experience of working in a much complex multinational company. I never had such privilege. The company I spent all my life working with was pretty much like a one-man business. So I didn't even understand what it takes to be able to cope in a well-structured, complex company. So during the negotiation for the salary, I never had such experience of speaking in such atmosphere. Big thanks to my mentor. He had drilled me prior to the interview. He had told me, look, your role has this financial definition in the market. This is the value of what should come to you every month. But if you're not able to get this value of what should come to you every month, remember I said that we have not gotten to the part of how much do we get to pay and all of that. And he had briefed me that do not go beyond this figure. Meanwhile, the figure he was saying I shouldn't go below was 6 times the salary I was collecting from the previous role. So he told me, look, once you go down this figure, you're going to be embarrassing yourself. This is a standard figure that should come to you, from the labor market, your role. But if the HR tries to push you, do not go below this figure. And I took the bold step not to go below that figure. And that really helps a lot. So it wouldn't have been a very, very smooth adventure if I didn't have that mentorship. And despite the fact that I've tried so many times for so many years, the very first opportunity I had to nail the, to nail the opportunity brilliantly wasn't from applying through a job portal. It was from referral, from someone who thought that I've been mentoring this guy for a couple of years. I think is fit for this position. And it was a meritocracy. And in fact, during my practical interview, he was the very first person that nailed me the most. He was asking me a lot of complex questions. Then my wife had to ask me, excuse me, after the interview, she asked me, I thought you said this guy was a mentor. So a few years later, when I joined the company, and I asked him, boss, I can't forgive you easily. There's something in my mind I think I need to trash out with you. He said, what? He said, I told him that during the interview, you were the most dangerous guy on the table. He said, yeah, I have to be dangerous because if I didn't do that and you come around to take up a task you're not prepared for, you will mess up yourself and you mess me up. And that actually showed up pretty well because at the end of the day, when they were trying to pick the person that they felt would take the role, that exceptional disposition of having to face the tough question actually stood out. And when the company now added the new cap to it, that fine, you guys are going to be coming to work for us, but one of you guys, you have to also be ready to defend a complex code prior to your resumption before foreign developers to prove your competency, because we have a $1 million project on the line. So the other guy just ran away. They didn't see the guy anymore. And I was the one actually pushing for the role. So I was just sleeping in my house and they started chasing me over the call because I was the next, I was the top guy that was left for them to actually, give such opportunity. So mentorship is a key thing. It helps you to bridge lots of gaps. And when you are presently experiencing negative responses from people, from companies and all of that, do not take it as a way to put you back to the depth of degradation. When you face challenges, you should be bold enough to push challenges to the wall because the time is pretty much closer when challenges are becoming tougher. And it can be quite tiring, really, because as at the time, I have mentored people who had already begun working for Meta, working for Google, Facebook. They were making good money. And you feel like, hello, what's wrong with me? But you just have to keep pushing. And like Aja Nimot said, that just keep on pushing and be ready for that timing. When that timing comes, your intellectual, inclination will make you quite distinctive from other people. And when it was time for us to now show that intellectual disposition on the bigger stage, the other guy ran away. And I was able to face it and I got the deal. So mentorship is a key factor that we need to always give a place of pride. Thanks.
To learn from seniors, our daddies, our mommies on the field who are already putting the hard work in it and then sharing their experiences with us. So we move on to Engineer Jamiu Badmo. So this question is also about seeking career opportunities, right? Having access to opportunities. And then, so this particular one will go in this direction. Okay, we have two candidates who are of the same entry level, the same qualification, the same grade, and they're already applying for one particular role. You need to choose one person. So what is one thing that will make you pick one person above the other person?
Okay. Now, both of them finished from the same school. Please confirm, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Both of them finished from the same school. Both of them first class. Both of them everything. There's something that will be different. that a deep person understands human resource or that knows what he's looking for, a good hiring manager, we see is character and discipline. Character will surely be different out of the two. Then look at their discipline. Now, when we say character is different from personality. Personality is what the person can show you, you can believe the person, but character, in what the Yoruba they say, you be able to understand the character of the person from your deep understanding of how to manage and interview people. This type of person will not be able to do well. Is a very brilliant person, but is not intelligent. You will know. There's a difference between being brilliant and being intelligent. To be able to know whether this person is this or not. And that's why Oga Yusuf have said it, mentorship. From their discussion, you know who has really passed through a serious tutelage, a mentorship program that added value to the person. There's no way you get it. Especially if you ask questions that has to do with value adding personality. What values can they bring on the table? They are all first class. They fall school together. They are all brilliant sharp. They are both brilliant. But then you ask questions on what value are you bringing to the table, you are going to get your responses that will make you to decide out of the two. Any of them that has good mentors, who have passed the tutelage of some good people, such one will answer your question in a way that you yourself, you'll be happy that this person fits into the role I'm looking at. Aside this, our certificate, and Yanima, my leader, I said it, aside your so-called certificate, your character, your discipline will make us to say, look, you are also good. Remember, talent can show you, yes, your certificate can show this guy is okay, but what makes you to sustain in any business organizations or in any activities in life is that character and discipline. That will make you to be distinct from others, though both of you or three of you have first class, you all have 2-1, but your character will show what type of person you are going to be. Are you an humble person? How can you be a leader without humility? It's not possible. It's like Nanima today calling me leader when he's the chairman of our group, when he's everything. So that's leadership, humility. See what I super spoken. That's humility. You can't be a leader when you are not humble. See our super mentor, Janasu, he will come down so low to everyone. Do you think he's low? No. Is that our father? Yes. But coming so low is part of leadership traits, and that is the character of the person. If he doesn't have the character, none of us will follow him. That's just the truth. He doesn't have a discipline. That from here to here, discipline is not beating. Please take note. Discipline is not flogging people. No. This is what I want to achieve. You have unbreakable mindset, a mindset of resilience, a mindset that I will achieve these things and you achieve it. That is discipline. About some years back when our leader started this group, go and find out. It's enough for him to say, I'm not doing it again. Many frustration, many risks, many obstacles, many challenges will be there. But because you are disciplined, you go. So you look at all those things in the people and the character, and it will work. You know, and I'll give you a case study on my own. In year 2000 or so, 2001, I applied for a job with flour mill those days. And it's a very good job. When we got to the interview, a lot of things for interview, we go to the final stage of the interview. You know what? When I finished speaking, the director of HR, in that interview, he didn't go for that. She told me straight. Said, Janu Badmos, this interview just concluded. You are the last person. As a sign, you are the best, but we will not take you. She said it. You are the best, but we will not take you. I opened my mouth. Because I needed that opportunity with family, a big company those days. So he said, we will not take you. And I'm telling you this because I love you. I said, okay, man. He said, look, go and look for a job in oil and gas. You are presently working for a servicing company, oil and gas, and a environmental servicing company. Go and look for pure oil and gas. Don't come to Flammy manufacturing. Because many things you are going to see here, you are going to be complaining. And I see that in you, and that is not too good for us to recruit you. Go back to oil and gas where you can see those who have like minds like you to make safety to work. After that time, she told me this. I didn't know what I told her. I didn't know. But now I was just talking. I've been a very powerful HR. She saw me that when I don't like things, I will talk. I remember my past in the university. I was a student union leader, not just union leader in campus. So I was among those controlling Nigeria at that time, not campus. So Nigeria at that time, I was among those who are dictating what's happening to the Nigerian students. Go to go everywhere, fight any school that increase school fees. Maybe that time the talk, I was explaining myself, was still coming out. And she saw it to me and she told me, and the woman is perfectly correct, because if I get there after 1 week self and I see they are not ready for safety practice, at that time, I may likely leave. When you are very young and vibrant, you don't have time for any company. So all the mentees here, don't forget what Oga Yusuf said. Mentorship is very critical. Don't forget what Engineer said. You need to be involved. It's not, certificate is good. It will promote you, to showcase you, but it will not make you to sustain the business and the work. So get certificate is fine. Change your character, work on your character, work on your being disciplined, and before you know it, the sky is the beginning and not the limit. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, sir. It's a wonderful session having to hear from you rather. Jami Badmos and other speakers have mentioned, majorly what they are pointing to, it is mentorship. This is why the grad mentor in person of Engineer Giwa has brought distinguished persons together from the field, and also persons of myself and fellow colleagues to come and learn from them. So just like we said earlier on, mentorship is very, very key. And this is one of the reasons why we're having this session, to learn from those who are already in the field, to guide us about how to navigate through our careers in the engineering, tech and HSC profession. So we'll move on to Engineer Animatalai. You mentioned about mentorship, writing that your father was part of those persons who was standing for you, that I want you to be, prior to that motive that this course is my daddy's course, I'm studying my daddy's course, which later become a very good one to you. So the question now says that, how do you separate a real mentor from someone you admire from distance? You admire somebody from distance, I want to be like this person. How do you separate this person? I want this person to be my mentor, and this person, you admire this person from inside, from following them online to getting their attention and them having them to mentor you.
Okay, so mentorship can be from when you admire someone to when the person actually talks to you one-on-one, just one-off. Then when the person actually take you on to mentor you. So that's
Sorry, ma, we are struggling to hear you. I don't know if it's the network from your hand or we are struggling to hear you here, please. Well, I'm not sure that the network receiver is quite very low from your end. Mr. Yusuf, can you please confirm if you can hear her, please?
I can't. I think she's having network outage.
All right. Oh, I guess she just logged out. So while we anticipate Engineer Animatalai join us back. So Engineer Yusuf, let's kindly take this from your whole end. You also mentioned that your mentor was part of the persons who was the major person who gave you an information that so company is about to recruit and for a particular job role, and then it was the same person who prepared you for the interview, and also this same person was also who drilled you more about the job role you're actually preparing yourself for during the course of interview. Okay, sorry, please. We have Engineer Animata Lai. Can you please continue, ma, please?
Okay. All right. Thank you. I didn't realize it. So what I'm saying is that the admiring someone that can be your mentor and having a mentor can both work together. So when you admire someone, you tend to sometimes want to behave like the person or follow the person's career path. Then mentorship can come from, oh, you are looking at the person, you've read the person's profile, you've seen the person talking at events, you've seen the person working, which in this case is me seeing my aunts and my dad working. Then that's like an indirect or speed mentoring. What we're doing now is speed mentoring. We're talking to ourselves. And sometimes mentorship can also be reversed. So it's not always you talking to me. I mean, it's not always me talking to you to tell you that this is what you ought to, or everything you have to do. I can come to you and say, "No, by the way, I like the way you position yourself during the session. Can you teach me? You taught me that, and I remember that. Oh, I even want to learn AI. I remember that. Oh, I even want to learn public speaking." And you started coming to me and you started teaching me. You're also mentoring me. You were admiring me, let's say, and I'm equally admiring you, and it translates into speed mentoring. Then it translated into reverse mentoring. So from a younger person to an older person. That's one speed mentoring. You can see the way admiration has come into speed mentoring. Then you can now have a structured mentoring. I don't know how MGS work, but I've volunteered with Whisker, with CEO, with Upwem, and with some other organization where we have structured mentoring over, let's say, 6 weeks, 6 months, or a year, where we meet every month or every week, and we have it documented. We have an agreement on this is what you want to achieve. So in response to your question, they both work together, because I've really admired a lot of young people, and I've also approached them to teach me, oh, I like the way you do things. I have a lot of coppers working with me that whilst I was their age, I didn't have such opportunity to work with senior people. And I didn't have that opportunity to be entrusted with the kind of task I've entrusted them with, because I believe now that you have a lot of opportunities in terms of technology advancement for you to move faster, and you have more time to learn, and you also have more time to explore. So it's both ways. It's sometimes, most times, start with admiration of the person, the way you work, the way you comport yourself, the way you deliver your speech, the way you do your work, and it translates into speed mentoring, then it translates into structured mentoring. So they all work together, and that has really worked a lot for me. There are a lot of mentors that I've really admired. I've followed them through. I mean, Engineer Jami Badmont is one of them. The way he has translated, I mean, the way his institute has evolved, you see Islam there. He will tell you that the creator is heaven and earth and everything. He will be reading a passage of the Quran to everybody from Nigeria, other African countries. And each time he's talking, I'm listening to a verse in the Quran. So I've admired him, and he has mentored me to also talk to people like that. Because if you say, Quran, so said, so they say, Elijah has come. But each time you want to talk, you let them know that the God Almighty is the beginning and the end. That whatever happens belongs to him. What Allah the first and the last. Is that Nur is the light of heaven and earth, you know. So it's a form of mentoring. He has mentored me to talk to multidisciplinary and
Engineer, please. Your
audience.
reception is quite poor. We can barely hear you. We can barely hear you. I think that network actually locked her off again. Let's kindly wait a second or two if she's able to join us quickly. As we agreed, we have just few minutes left for this session to come to an end. Just like we agreed with our facilitators and speakers that we just have to take just few hours from their time today. So, Yusuf, you have this now. Just as I mentioned earlier on, if someone can't find a mentor in person, what other ways, or are there other ways to get the real feedback and guidance from their work? Sorry, please, we still have Engineer Nimot still speaking. I get the reception is quite fluctuating.
Sorry, I probably want to give time to others. So I don't know, maybe you heard most of what I said. Bottom line is that admiration and mentorship comes together. Most times, if you are going into direct or indirect mentorship, they all work together for good. I don't know, maybe you had the explanation, but I think because of my network, let me give time for others to speak as well. I can take any other thing in my closing remark. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. We had you just towards the ending part where the network was, the reception was quite poor. Right, thank you very much for taking that with us. So, Mr. Yusuf, we have this question for you. Yes, as a someone who can't find a mentor in person, are there other ways to get real feedback and guidance on their work or directions?
Yeah, so thank you so much for that question. For those who may not necessarily find mentorship in person, I think that seems to me pretty much like a question that sounds pretty much impossible because you always find a mentor. I'm going to answer, in a situation whereby you are in that extreme situation that you couldn't find mentorship, what can you possibly do? But it sounds pretty much like, is it possible that you can't find mentor from anywhere at all? So I think maybe what we should talk about is what are those effective ways that you can still find mentorship and retain mentorship? Because the reason people don't often find positivities in mentorship or having to retain mentorship with learned people is because sometimes people try to make mentorship more like a parasitic relationship. You are the person who wants to learn from someone, and you are always intellectually willing to learn from the person. The person is dishing out that intellectual content to you, and you are able to consume those contents all of it every time. But the key thing is, what if you try to make your mentorship a kind of a symbiosis relationship, which is what helps me. It helps me a lot. I've got lots of mentors in different disciplines. I've got mentor in the line of communication. I've got a mentor in the line of telecommunication. In fact, recently I led automation training for one of the top telecom companies in Nigeria. It was a mixture of automation and programming, automating network data. And I got that deal through my telecommunication mentor. And one thing that has always worked for me over time is I never made the relationship a kind of a parasitic, okay? They mentor me, I also give back something in return. I could call my mentor and tell him, sir, have you checked out a new technology making wave in your industry recently? Maybe my mentor is an expert of Cisco routing. I could call him and say, sir, you probably have missed the news about new framework released by Cisco for cybersecurity being, integrated with AI. That mentor is actually gaining something from me. I could call my mentor in software engineering. We could talk about new frameworks that has happened. I call their attention to something. They may be quite busy with so many things. So they know we can't let this guy go because I am mentoring this guy. This guy is also calling my attention to tiny things. So you would sustain that mentorship for a very long time. So to me, it sounds pretty much, hard and pretty much like a blank assertion that, you can find mentorship. You have to be willing to give out something as well. So do not take mentorship like, do you want to receive 100%? You also have to have a tiny value to give to the person. And in a situation whereby you are in an, absurd scenario or a kind of an irregular situation whereby you can't find mentorship, the advent of artificial intelligence is a good mentorship. And you can actually train your LLMs like ChatGPT, Gemini, and Claude to be your mentor, but you have to train them on the type of mentorship you wish them to be. You could tell them, okay, I want you to assume like a Muslim mentor who will mentor me on communication, who would have this kind of moral values, the kind of content you'll be giving to me. It's like you're molding your mentor. So you can use AI to do that because it helps you to simulate what a human mentor would probably do for you. But to wrap it up, don't give up on having mentorship. Don't have that mental inclination that you can't find mentors. Make your best, try more effort. Once you have found one, make it a symbiotic relationship and you'll find it quite captivating. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Yusuf. It's an honor to get that from you. Ensure that you get your mentorship should not be a parasitic one. You should be willing to give back to your mentor to ensure that, yes, he's also gaining or he or she is also benefiting back from you. Right, we move on to Engineer Jamiu Badmus. Just being a global mentor, right? A lot of persons will actually say that, or let's take it in this format, right? So what's the best career advice anyone has ever given you, and who is the person?
Best career advice. Okay, people ask me questions like, what type of engineering did I study? I never ask you, moderator, which one do you think I study? Answer that question, sorry. Moderator, you see me speaking everywhere. What do you think is the type of engineering I study? Just tell me.
Well, I don't have a practical, from your portfolio, there's those particular engineering that was actually mentioned, but I can probably say things around environment. Sir?
Okay. Now, listen.
I guess the reception from your end is quite poor. We can't hear you clearly. Oops, I guess that network, that reception just kicked out Engineer Jamiu Badmus. And while we anticipate Engineer Jamiu Badmus to join us back, we have just as I mentioned earlier, Nursery Giver Mentorship Platform. This year we'll be celebrating the 10th year anniversary of this particular mentorship platform. Also, this year we'll also be having the 5th edition of the Nursery Giver Mentorship conference, the 5.0. In this course, we have the marketing team who would be explaining to us what are the benefits of attending this conference and how do we attend this conference. While we anticipate Jamiu Badmus join us back, we have Madam Yusuf and Jamiu Badmus, sir.
Okay, that the one allowing us to unmute. So thank you. So I worked in telecoms, Globalcom, as a rollout engineer, became rollout manager, eventually became the HSC head of the company, group head of the company. That's telecoms. I work in the power sector, distribution and generation, and as the group head of HSC. I work in oil and gas fully, later as group head HSC for different companies in oil and gas. Now, what did I study? You either think I study electrical because of the telecoms experience, maybe electronics engineering, electrical because of the power sector experience, which I can explain to you very well. Electrical engineering, more than most electrical engineers that just finished school and didn't practice well. You can say, you are doing civil work in terms of building towers, and you're managing towers, project managing towers. Am I a civil engineer like my leader, Engineer Nimat? The answer to all this is no. I studied agricultural engineering. As opposed, based on what everybody sees to me, I'm supposed to be on the farmland and repairing tractor and all those things. I never know anything about that. I never know anything about tractor. I have no idea. I attended class, I made good grade from school. I don't know most of those things. So where I'm going is this. Last for when did I see that career change? It's a long story. But I was opportune during year 4, that was 1997, that I wanted to do my industrial training. We call it CWES, 6-month program. And I didn't see where to work. Because I can engineering, where will you get to work in Lagos? And I can't go, it was tough. Though it has options for food processing, it has options, water and environmental engineering, it has options, quite all right. But those options are not known except like engineering is farmland. So I just saw a company, World Environmental System, and I went inside. I don't know them, but because of the boldness, because I don't to feel one being, I want to feel good, and because of my background activism, I just went there. And I met with the secretary. I want to see the MD. He said, no, who are you? From where? Why was discussing with me? And MD came out and he said, no problem. I said, no problem, but I would like to see you. And I sat with him and I told him what I'm studying. And I told him we have options, but I don't understand those options. We don't start doing courses in it. And I need to be an environmental engineer. And your company, I saw environmental consulting firm. So the man sat me down, told me what they are doing. All the things they are doing, I've not had them before in the school. So I begged him, I want to join. And that's the beginning of my career path. That's the beginning. Because my intention is to study electrical. That's a different story on this. So let's leave that one. You can watch me online. I did a lot of things online on that one. I did TED talk on that one. But the truth is, I studied agricultural engineering. And I got to meet Prince Kenny Awoshika Olumo, the Awoshika family. I met him. And from there, the trajectory changes and the things started doing well, from health and safety to this. He was working for oil companies, for government on environmental analysis. And from there, we started the journey. But one thing is to start the journey, another thing is you to sustain it with your passion, with your purpose, and of course, with high level of professionalism. When you put these three together, you can achieve whatever you want to achieve. At a point in life, you have to do volunteering. Please take note. You are looking for a job as fresh graduate, and there is no job. It's not fresh graduate. And you are posting very much training job. No problem. You have two. They're not coming for 2-1 jobs. No problem. Why not do volunteering? Sometimes you volunteer with some people. You learn seriously from them. And before you know it, those learnings that you have from them can be used to get better opportunities. We did this and it's very, very helpful. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Enyajami Badmus. It's an inspiring session with that. So just like I've mentioned earlier on, we have the conference team, the conference team of the marketing team of the conference team, rather. Sorry, apologies for that. We'll be taking us through what are the benefits of attending this session and this particular conference, and then how do we attend this particular conference I have mentioned to us. We have Malam Yusuf Sadiq who will be taking us through that in few minutes from now. Malam Yusuf.
No, Assalamualaikum. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
All right, thank you very much. A big thanks to all our speakers. It's been an amazing session so far. So one thing about, this particular session is talking about career, and one thing about navigating a career path is that it never really stops, whether you are just starting in your career journey, or you are switching between industries, or building something, maybe a business or something. There's always decisions to make. There is always a new thing to learn. There is always people to learn from. And I think these are what some of the things the speakers for today highlighted. And that's one thing the Nursery Grower Mentorship platform is all about: building people, young minds. So the Nursery Grower Mentorship is a community that is passionate about helping people grow intentionally. So what the mentorship platform is about is connecting people with mentors, professionals, business leaders, and basically a network of young people that are ambitious, and they are ready to build meaningful career and a meaningful lifestyle. So, but every year there is a flagship event we do as a community, which is the NGM conference. And this year is going to be our 5th edition, which is the NGM conference 5.0. And it is a remarkable one, as we are marking 10 years of impact with NELA. So the theme of this year's conference is building the future, the urgency of now. If we've been following our speakers from the beginning, we'd see that all these things that they're saying they are doing or they've achieved, it started from somewhere. And it's because they've envisioned the kind of future they want for themselves. So if and I think it's a message that everybody can relate to, no matter where you are in your journey. The future you are hoping is basically shaped by the decisions and the actions that you take today. So this year's conference promises to bring together professionals, entrepreneurs, founders, students, and young innovators. From every aspect of every sphere of life. So it's going to be an insightful one. There's going to be sessions for networking, learning, and we have some amazing initiatives like the NGM Dr. Okola Additional Day Nigeria Challenge and the Afropreneur Idea Competition Challenge. So it's going to be an amazing competition, amazing conference where everybody is going to learn from. We are going to be creating a lot of opportunities for people to gain visibility and support. And yeah, our speakers for today also emphasize the benefit of networking. A number of people get jobs, roles, and opportunities just because they are in some kind of room. So if you are looking to expand your network, you are looking to learn from people who have built successful careers and businesses, this room is a room that you should be. I would strongly encourage you to be there. We have amazing speakers, amazing sessions planned for everyone. We have Inyabeji from Flutterwave, and we have a number of amazing speakers. If you are following our socials, we are going to be seeing them. So let's I hope to see us. It's going to be coming up on October 3rd, 2026, inshallah, and our tickets are currently still on sale. So if you've been thinking about attending, I would strongly encourage that you get your ticket as early as possible, so you can be a part of a big and impactful conference. So inshallah, we would send the link to the tickets. Okay, you are displaying it already. So we'll send it to the chat box now. So kindly get your ticket as soon as possible, and we hope to see you there, inshallah. Thank you very much for that. Sorry.
All right. Thank you very much, Malam Yusuf Sodiq. That's the the marketing team from the conference team, which I mentioned earlier on how to gain more navigations about what this particular. If we already agree with me, the theme for this year's conference is building the future, the urgency of now, which is also part of the things we are actually discussing on this part on this session Now, how do we navigate through our careers while moving on to ensure that we get to the peak of our career? Also, moving on to the time is fast spent. Just to keep to agreement we had with our speakers, we'll be taking the parting word from our speakers now. If you have any questions, you can drop them in the chat box, or you also use the Slido link in the chat box to ask your questions. Also, for colleagues who are also joining us on YouTube, you also have the Slido link being pasted on the YouTube chat box. You can also ask your question there. For reference purpose, this session is live streamed on YouTube. You can always go back there for future purpose, or you need to listen to these sessions again over again. So, Enhancement Badmus, let's have your parting words, sir.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear, sir. Your parting words, sir.
My parting words is, all we need to do is to be focused. There are challenges. We are in a VUCA world. We are in a binary world. Challenges are there. Remain focused. Have 3 great mindsets that will assist you. 1, unbreakable mindset. Don't let anything demean you to fall. Failure is for human beings, it's for people. But failure is opportunity for you to think more intelligently and achieve. So unbreakable mindset, good for you. 2, collaborative mindset. You can't do it alone. You need people to support you. You need people to work with you. Let them understand what you do. And the last one is customer-centric mindset. Anyone you meet, do good to the person. That good will become better for you one day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Enhancement Badmus. That is the parting word from Enhancement Badmus. Do good to everyone you see, you meet on your ways, and then we shall get to the top. So please, before I move on to the next speakers, if you have your questions, kindly raise your hand if you want to ask questions, or you drop them on the chat box, or you use the Slido link to ask your questions. The time is fast spent. We agreed we are also far behind schedule for our speakers. Also, let's take one parting words from Engineer Nimatalai. Nimatalai Moili, please.
All right, thank you very much. I think the first thing I will have said was what the Engineer Badmus said. I would say be bold in your ideas. I'm saying this because we're Muslims, and sometimes, because I'm wearing hijab, because I have beards, because, we create that because for ourselves, but they don't exist. The bias we create for ourselves has become an opportunity for us, because we are now in a world that is fast evolving, that needs diversity. So I tell our sisters that if you don't use your hijab to create diversity, somebody will come and use LGBTQ to create the diversity, because the world really wants that diversity. So always be bold in your ideas. Failure is part of success. Most of the things I do, maybe some of them I didn't succeed in my first attempt, and maybe some I was fortunate I succeeded in my first attempt. But each time you fail, it's not your destination. Know that failure is part of the journey, and you take it like that. Then also, integrity is very important. No matter what you do, there's no shortcut to success. Always make sure that whatever you are doing in that corner, when the whole world meets you there, you'll be very comfortable in your skin. Then build meaningful relationship. They really, really tells a lot on your personality. Mr. Yusuf, that maybe we see ourselves once in a year, Engineer Jamil maybe once in a year, but every time we know that when we need to call ourselves, it's because of the integrity that we know. So please keep all of those and be a lifelong learner. The world is fast changing. Go to the learning platform. There are a lot of free things. Don't wait. Don't say because I don't have money. LinkedIn is there for you to learn. Coursera is there for you to learn. You can actually learn for free and seek opportunities. So don't stop learning and keep connecting. Collaboration is very important, and may Allah put barakah in everything that we do. Jazakumullah khair.
All right, Ami Wayakum, thank you very much for that, and Allah Muili for those parting words. So, Engineer Yusuf, let's also have your parting words. We have questions already strolling up from the Slido link, so we'll take that once Engineer Yusuf has taken his path. All right, yes, kindly speak, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. It's a great opportunity being in the same intellectual room with the two speakers we have, Engineer Jami Badbas and of course, Ajani Motmeli. So my parting words would be that, for the people listening and having the privilege to be at this auspicious occasion, it is not by mistake. Your decision to be here in the first place shows that you are quite exceptional. You're quite deliberate about being a wonderful person, because some of your friends or colleagues that are not here may not necessarily be doing something as captivating and productive as this. So being here alone is a great privilege and a great decision and a productive one. So you shouldn't let go everything that has been mentioned here. You don't need to arrive ready. You just need to arrive willing. You have to be willing. You don't need to feel like until you're ready before you take that bold step. And every system you ever build starts as confusion. That is the generic perspective. Perspective of people. Every system starts as a confusion. Stay long enough and confusion turns into skill. You have to start, just start. Even when you are confused, you are that deep of confusion, you just need to start. With time, confusion turns into skill for you. And don't wait for the title to start leading. Start leading and let the title catch up. The tools will keep changing. Like Aja, Nimat said, you have to keep learning. AI today, something else could happen tomorrow. Whatever changes is the value of someone who can think clearly when everyone else is confused. You are not behind, my brothers and sisters. You are exactly where every person in this room once stood. So make this your working tools, and we will all meet at that very top. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Yusuf Jimo. I've mentioned earlier on now that we have questions rolling in from our participant here on the Slido link. But I would like my colleague here to take the question. That's Aja Afso Anibaba. Can you please unmute and take the question from the Slido link, please?
Okay. Assalamu alaikum. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
All right, thank you. So the first question we have here is what's the best advice you can give to an early career? I know it's been answered, but maybe it could also be kind of like parting word from our speaker, Engineer Nimatala, sorry. Engineer Nimatala. Sorry, can you still hear me?
All right, thank you. Yes, like you rightly mentioned that it has been mentioned. Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear my response?
Yes, I
Can
can.
you hear my
Thank
response?
you. Yes, I can hear you.
All right. So, yeah, like you rightly mentioned that it has been answered. So for early career, the last thing I mentioned is that you should be a lifelong learner. Then look at where you actually want to be and write it down and break it down. So early career, you are just, let me say you are just in your final year, or you just left school, or you're a copper. What do you want to really achieve? I mean, I use myself as an example. I know I want to be in management, but my dad directed me to engineering. So I made lemonade out of the lemon of, this bitter pill of engineering. I try to understand what can I do more with it, and I realized that I can do a lot more with it. So I started taking management courses. That's why I have ISO 9001. That's quality management system, environmental management system. I'm a PMP, and amongst other things. So I acknowledge my foundation. And by the way, I must also mention, sometimes we feel that is when I have 2-1 first class. No, I actually graduated with 2-2 civil engineering. Then I realized that for some other things I want to do, having a 4 points and above is good. So when I was doing my master's, despite the fact that I still did very strong engineering, I pray Allah bless me with something I can work on. So I graduated with a 4 point something in my master's. So it doesn't really matter where you are coming from, because I've met a lot of us telling me that they graduate with a pass. You can always correct your career. You can always do it intentionally. So wherever you are now, where do you see yourself in 2 years' time? And how do you think you can get there? If you need to have a mentor, have a mentor. If you need to take some basic courses, take these basic courses. Then project into 5 years. Project into whatever. But usually 2 to 5 year plan works very well because you're able to really track. Now, I will even suggest that you do it like a biannual. Get someone that is in the space you want to be, which is mentoring that we all talk about, and start measuring it. Don't work alone. It doesn't work because you always pat yourself at the back that, oh, I'm actually trying. So break it down. And I would have said it. Don't always go to think that your mentor will figure everything out. No, it's supposed to be a mutual beneficial relationship. Then you do most of the talking, let them listen and advise you. So break it down into a 6 month, 1 year, 2 year plan. Then have 5 year plan somewhere. For me, 5 year plan doesn't work in this era. And that's what I would give an early career. And also telling myself too. I try to do an annual appraisal of myself. Jazakallah khair.
All right, thank you so much, Hajia Nimot Alai. Thank you so much. Jazakallah khairan. So she has mentioned, have that vision, and then you have to do regular appraisal. Yeah. Then and then keep making efforts towards that vision. Then the next question I have here is with infrastructure and engineering projects in Nigeria often slow moving, how do young engineers build a strong portfolio without project experience? Would you want to answer that?
It depends on your perception of that infrastructure projects is slow in Nigeria. It depends on where you are. So number one is to even get on the project. When you get on the project, you try to understand the problem. Nigeria has its peculiarity, but for when they are not on the project, don't use social media to judge or to use the media to judge. Just get on the project first, because sometimes the project is struggling to come out of foundation, which everybody don't see. And it's looking like, oh, the foundation is taking 100 years. But the moment you're above the foundation is out, now say, now everybody can see. So, number one, get on a particular project, understand it, and don't wait until when you're employed on the project. Volunteer. I did my corporate exam whilst I was not working because I was volunteering and I was going to site to tell them that I want to learn. But most people these days, the first thing they'll ask you is, how much do you want to pay me? I use 100,000 for transportation. So be open to genuinely understand what the problem is. If you genuinely understand what the problem, it might even be what they will employ you for. I'm working on a major infrastructure project that is about 1 trillion naira. And I saw a guy, and they tell me that that guy is their social media guy, but he's actually a worker. I always see the project on YouTube, and I was wondering that the person doing this recording is somebody that is with us 247. But the guy was not employed to do the YouTube covering. He's a worker there, and he took the advantage of covering the project, and the contractor is happy about it. So don't wait till you are on a big project or a small project. Understand the project, know what you want to go and learn there, know the problem you want to address, and use the problem to as an opportunity. So in this case, this guy is making money on YouTube now because everybody is interested in the project. So that's what I would say. But please, always, we were in Meduguri 2 weeks ago for NSC Council meeting, and everybody were like, "Is it safe? How did you feel?" I said, "But you are seeing me relaxed." But the media is telling you that, oh, once you land in Meduguri, bomb will happen. So please, my dear brothers and sisters, until when you get to know the problem, don't assume, because the assumption will take you away from the opportunity that you should have. They will tell you that job sisters don't work in engineering. They will tell you that you cannot be clean in engineering. It's all media gimmicks. So get there and look at the problem and prefer a solution. Nigerian project has its peculiarity, but that peculiarity is the opportunity that we are to solve. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you so much, Jazakumullah khairan. Okay, so the next question I have goes to Mr. Yusuf. The question is, if someone has never had a real tech job, what is the fastest legitimate way to get something that looks like real experience?
Sorry, Mr. Yusuf dropped off the call. He's not on the call presently.
Okay, and this was is more like a tech.
Likewise, Engineer Jami also.
Oh, all right. Okay. Okay. So let me just see. The next two questions are on tech and HSC. I'll ask the last question and then we'll see if we can move on to the mini questions. So the last question is, can you say your friends and colleagues are part of your growth? What set of people turned out a good network at the end? Engineer Nima?
All right. My friend and colleague, absolutely, 101%. They are part of my growth. My colleagues, I meet them every day. My friends influences the way I behave. And my colleagues also influence the way I behave. There was a time that when I just joined the board, I had a lot of frustration, and I had to tell my boss that sorry, because I had double promotion, by the way. I had to tell him that let me go back to the level I was supposed to be. And he started laughing at it. Looks like you don't know how much you are worth. We realize how much you are worth, and we gave you that platform to excel, because we've seen all you do outside, but it's like we're under utilizing you. So the part of the growth was the pushback of we don't need a female here. Then I identified that I need to stay for female like you that are on the call. So they sometimes will make or mar you, but it's your attitude to it. And similarly with friends, I've had friends that I had to drop. I'd had friends that I had to look for. I've had friends that we don't see every time, but when we call, is always a good catch up, because it's like we trust ourselves that you are making progress. I don't need to be there, and I trust you. So the once in a year is, oh, okay, I'm around here. Can I come over and we spend a few days together? And it will be maybe another year, another 2 years. So the choice will make. Like I said earlier, I'm chairman and everywhere, but my home, my children knows that when we have any function, at the finger of their tip, they know the people that will come. Because when I'm doing something, I want to tell you that I'm Nimot and you believe I'm Nimot. I want to be free. I want to talk to everyone. So they form part of me, and they form the way I reason. They form the way I behave. There are certain times that I want to shout. Sometimes that don't you know I'm the chairman, but people will tell me that that's not me. So that means that space I need to be careful about it, because it's changing who I am. So your friends, your colleagues, they really form part of who you are. And if they are changing who you are, that means you need to evolve. If you're in an organization where you are not comfortable in your skin, not every time, because it's not every time that your ways is the way of the organization, but if the organizational culture doesn't allow growth, doesn't allow you to really express yourself, doesn't support growth, then it's not a place for you to be. But if it's something you think you need to evolve, sometimes we want to stay in our comfort zone. But if you truly realize that I need to evolve, then you should, because the organization where you spend close to 12 hours, they shape you. The friends you talk to after the close of business, the way they advise you, the way they reason, the way they talk, the way they dress, the way they approach issues, they really go a long way. So they are all part of your growth. Salam alaikum. I'm done.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Hafso and Baba. Thank you very much for taking that particular session. So moving on to the next part, here we have the vote of thanks and closing remark. Thank you very much, Engineer Matala Mwele, also to our other facilitators. Thank you very much for honoring our invite. We are so much glad to have you here with us, having to learn from you and to understand how you have been able to navigate through your journey while you were like us, while you were like us till when you are where you are presently, and also how we are supposed to navigate through this particular aspect. Some of those things that actually stand out from the discussion was mentorship is very, very important. So why trying to get yourself a mentor? You should not make such a mentorship a parasitic one, rather than to be a symbolic one whereby your mentor learns from you, you also learn from your mentor. Why it's also keeping this mentorship in mind is that your character also part of the things that actually stands out while moving on in life. Character is one of those things that is very, very much important. Just like Engineer Jamil Badmus mentioned in his speech, that your certificate can get you into the room, your skills can also get you the room, but what makes you stand and what keeps you in that room, it is your character. So this is one of the major things that will have to that's been learned and discussed by our facilitators and our speakers here. Moving on, we have the vote of thanks. We are Engineer Nasir Giwa, the grand mentor.
Yes, salam alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, sir.
Sadiq, I need to say, let me start by thanking you and the team for the excellent job in putting this together. It's an amazing session. And I must thank my sister, Engineer Nimat. You did extremely well explaining this to the audience. And I think you used your mode of presentation has been excellent. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. And we hope we can always count on inviting you another time where we need to. We will always answer us. I can only pray to Allah to accept it from you as an act of ibadah. So thank you very much. And to the audience, I believe we have gained many things from this meeting, from this session today. May Allah continue to ease our affairs. So once again, to our career enhancements and employability, career development and employability enhancement team, thank you for this wonderful session. Well put together, very professionally handled by our professional anchor, Sadiq Abdurrahim. Thank you so much. Jazakumullah khairan. So unfortunately, our other facilitator, Engineer Bidmos and Yusuf Jima Weda, unfortunately, I didn't have them to say thank you, but we certainly appreciate them. We appreciate their time with us, and we look forward to having them again, once again. So thank you. We send appreciation to them as well. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Our distinguished colleagues, that is the voice of the Grand Mentor of Nasiru Giwa Mentorship Platform. He has just give his closing remark in this contest. So, brethren in faith, thank you for staying up to this moment. And it's a pleasure to have each and every one of you here on this call. Kindly follow us on our social media handles at NGM platform on X, Instagram, LinkedIn, and other platforms where you can find NGM Nasiru Giwa Mentorship Platform. So this is just a call to action to each and every one of us. More of these sessions will be rolled out by this team and other teams also. You can also learn from the team across our social media handles. While you are not being a mentee of this platform, you can always learn across our social media handles, which I have mentioned. And don't forget to get your ticket for the conference coming up 5.0, October 3rd, 2026, at the Podium Event Center, Ikeja, Lagos. So you can get more information about that across our social media handles. While we take while we draw the curtain here today, we meet some other time. Let's gently recite Surah Al-Asri as a closing word for this session. Bismillah ar-Rahman الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر صلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين الحمد لله رب العالمين. Bye for now.